This is number 6 in our Absolute Beginner series for piano. This one's a little bit of a doozy. We're going to be taking our 5-note C scale we practiced, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C, C chord. I might have that wrong, but C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C, C chord. And we've been practicing that with both hands, hopefully, and now we're going to try to do that on the keyboard on every single note. So this is really important as far as practicing how to feel the different parts of the keyboard and also understanding how all the notes relate to each other. So this one's going to take a little bit of time to go through. Again, we're going to approach it on the keyboard and in writing, not sheet music just yet, but just conceptually written out. That way you have a few different ways to wrap your head around it, because this can take a little time. But once you get through this, you'll have a way better understanding of the keyboard, both physically and mentally, if you work through this and do this on the regular until it's nice and comfortable. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is a big one. We're going to try to take our 5-note C scale and move that pattern to every other key on the keyboard. Okay, that might seem a little bit scary at first, but let's talk about how we're going to get there. We're going to talk through this multiple times, and always feel free to go back and watch parts if you're stuck, okay? So let's look at what's going on when we play that C scale. So sometimes when we play, we skip a note. We don't go. So it doesn't matter whether they're black or white. Sometimes we skip a note, and we call that a whole step when we skip one note, okay? So a whole step is anytime we do that. So this would be a whole step as well, even if we're skipping a white note. Or this, because we're skipping just one note. Or this, because again, we're just skipping one note, okay? We call that a whole step when we skip one note. When we don't skip one note, we call that a half step. Now we have two natural half steps. We have E and F and B and C. We can also make half steps by going like this. Or. Okay? So when we played the C scale, we went whole step, half step, whole step, whole, half, whole. So whole step from 1 to 2, whole step from 2 to 3, half step from 3 to 4, and whole step from 4 to 5. So let's scoot over to D, try doing the same thing. Whole step, this is a half, so we're going to go like this to play a whole step, then a half step, and then a whole step again. See how it sounds the same? Just higher, okay? So we could practice that just like we do our C scale. Instead of going, we can go, okay? Let's keep on moving. Let's try doing that for E. So we start from E, whole step. This isn't gonna work. There we go, whole step. Then another whole step, skipping one key, then a half step, and then another whole step. So that's our E scale. So for D we went D, E, blank, G, A. We're going to call this F sharp because it's higher than F. And if you're having trouble remembering your note names, try to go back and review that, because we're really going to need to be able to talk about them for this one. So C is all white keys, C, D, E, F, G. And then D went D, E, F sharp, G, A. E went E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. And if you're having a hard time with this, try writing these out. It helps a lot, okay? Next, we're going to move to F. Whole, half, whole. So F, G, A, blank, A sharp, B flat, F, G, A, B flat, C. Okay, then we're going to move on to G. So whole step, half step, whole step. We didn't have to change anything for this one. Just G, A, B, C, D. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to A. So, oops, I cheated. Gave you a preview there. So whole step. This is a half, so that's no good. Whole step, half step, whole step. A, B, blank, D, E. C sharp, D flat. A blank, B blank, D. B, C, D. A, B, C sharp, D, E. Okay? All right, then we got our B. Ooh, that's not even close. So that's a half, so we need a whole. And another whole. Then a half. Then a whole. So whole, half, whole. B, blank, blank, E, blank. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. Okay, so to review real quick, we went C, D, E, F, G, D, E, F sharp, G, A, E, F sharp, G, A, B, F, G, A, B flat, C, G, A, B, C, D, A, B, C sharp, D, E, and B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. Alright, so that's 7 different keys, but we skipped 5 of them. We skipped all of these guys. So let's figure these out, okay? So let's start here. So whole step. We always want to start on our thumb for these short ones because we have 5 notes, 5 fingers, so let's use them all, okay? So whole step, half step, whole step. Well, this one has more black keys than white keys. So we'll have to use our white key to figure out what we're doing. So white key is F. So if this is F, F, E, D. So F, E flat, D flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat. There we go. D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat. Okay. Now, if we look at our D we did earlier, and our D flat we just did, we see a really nice pattern that we can use to figure out the rest of these real quick. D went white, white, black, white, white. And D flat went black, black, white, black, black. So they're opposites. One black key in the middle, one white key in the middle. Okay? So we can use that to figure out all the rest of our black keys. We just can invert one we already did. So E went E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, white, black, black, white, white. So E flat will go black, white, white, black, black. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. Okay? Then F went F, G, A, B flat, C. And only had one black key. So F sharp will only have one white key. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. Alright, then A had one black key, A, B, C sharp, D, E. So A flat will have one white key, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat. And again, if this is a lot to take in, try starting from the beginning and making sure you really know what your notes are. Try writing things down, and we're still going to write this out after this as well, okay? All right, and then one last one, B flat. All right, B went B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, white, black, black, white, black, and this one goes black, white, white, black, white. So this one had 2 white keys at 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has 2 black keys at 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. And again, if we weren't sure what to name it, we could go, well, we know this is a C, and we know this is a D. D, C, B. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. Whew, and that's all our keys. Let's see what that looks like written out. Okay. So if that didn't make sense at the keyboard, we're going to look at that one more way, and hopefully this will help if you're still feeling kind of stuck. So our pattern we started out with was our C scale. That's how we measured what we were doing. So C scale went C, D, E, F, G, right? And it went whole step from C to D, whole step from D to E, half step from E to F, and a whole step from F to G. Now sometimes people get kind of confused about whole steps and half steps based off of how the keyboard's designed. All of these keys are equal as far as distance from each other. It doesn't matter whether it's a black key or a white key. If we go 2 keys, including black keys and white keys, that's always going to be a whole step. So 1 key, 2 keys, that's a whole step. If we started here, 1, 2, that's a whole step as well from E up to F sharp. Okay, so what I did here is I redrew the keyboard if all the keys were equal. So now it's a little bit easier to see whole step, we're skipping a key. So all these black keys, I'm just going to put a little dot right here so we can see where we have a black key in between a key. I'm not putting a name because they could have 2 names, so that gets a little bit confusing, okay? So C to D, there's our whole step. D to E, there's a whole step again. E to F, nothing in between, so that's a half step. Then F to G, whole step again, because we're skipping just 1 key. Okay, so that might be a little bit easier to see. Let's go through and do all of our other scales, okay? So after C, we did D. So D went D, E, F sharp, G, A. So again, whole step, this time we're skipping F and we're getting an F sharp, then a half step from F sharp to G. See, this F sharp key is right next to our G key, so there's nothing between them. That's going to be one of our half steps right there. And then whole step from G to A. There we go. All right, so let's look at E next. Feel free to pause any of these if you need to see it for a little bit longer. Okay, so E, we needed a whole step. So E and F are right next to each other. So first thing we got to do is skip F and go to F sharp. So it goes E, F sharp, and then F sharp we need to skip again. So we skip G to the other black key. So G sharp. So this guy's functioning as a G sharp here. So E, F sharp, G sharp. Now we need our half step, so we can go from G sharp to A. Those are right next to each other. Okay, then we need another whole step, so we'll just go A to B. So there's a whole step, because again, we're skipping 1 key if we do that. Okay, so next we're going to move on to F. So for F, we started at F, okay, and we went whole step to G, which makes sense, skip 1, whole step to A, skip 1. Now we need a half step, okay? So F, G, A, half step to B flat. So we need the note right next to A. So we're going to use this B flat right here. Then we need a whole step, so we'll skip B and go to C. Skip that B, go to C, and there's our F scale. All right, let's move on to G. So G, we need a whole step, which is there. A to B, we need a whole step, which is there. B to C, we need a half step, which is already like that, so we don't need to do anything. And then C to D, we need a whole step again, so that's already like that. We don't need to do anything. We can just go right across the white keys, and it fits the pattern. So G is one of our easiest new scales out of all these. Okay. I'm going to pop down for A, down to here. So if we start at A, we need a whole step, so we'll go to B, C, A to B, 1 key in the middle. Now we need a whole step again, so C is not going to work because that's a half step, so we need to skip up to C sharp. Okay? And then now we need a half step, so C sharp to D is just 1 key apart. So we can do C sharp to D. And then last one, we need another whole step, so D to E will work because that's just one key in the middle. So there's our A scale. Okay. Alright, so then that brings us to B. So B, first thing we need is a whole step, so this isn't going to work because B and C are half steps. So we'll skip and we'll play C sharp. Okay. Next, we need to do another whole step, so we can't go to a white key, we need to go to a black key again. So we're going to skip again to D sharp. So we'll play on this key. Next, we're going to need to do a half step, so D sharp to E. They're already right next to each other, so that works. And then we need one more whole step from E. F won't work because it's right next to it, so we're going to skip and do F sharp instead. So E skip over F, F sharp. So this one has 3 black keys in it. Okay? So that's our B scale. So that covers all of our natural notes. We did one for C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So then we'd have to double back and figure out what to do for our black keys. Now, I had said that we're going to call the next one D flat. But say if you weren't sure what to name it, you could figure it out based off of whatever natural notes are in the scale. So say if we're going to start on D flat, we may not even know whether to call this, D flat or C sharp, but we'll figure out in a second. So if we start here, we need to go a whole step, so we'll skip to another black key, and we need another whole step, so then we'll skip to F. Well, if this is F, if F's our third note, that means this black key would be our second note, and this one would be our first note. So what name would make the most sense? If this is F, the one before it would need to be some sort of E, so we'd call that E flat, and if that's an E flat, the one before that would have to be some sort of D. So that would be D flat. So now we have enough to understand what would make the most sense. D flat, E flat, whole step to F. Now we need another half step, so that would put us right here. So we should call this guy G flat. Okay. And then we would need to skip again. And so we'd call this next one A flat, because we're landing on a black key again. And there's our D flat scale. So we could figure that out for the first one, but remember what I said before. If you remember what your D scale was a second ago, it was the opposite. It was D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay? So if you remember that, this is just going to be the opposite of that. This one went white key, here I'll write it as little squares. White key, and then a black key, then a white key, white key. So this one went white, black, white. So this one's going to do the opposite. It'll go black, white, black. Okay? So we could do that for all of our other flat keys. So if you've been taking notes for this, which you should, I always tell everybody, if you can't remember it, write it down, okay? If we think about all our other ones, we could invert those ones as well and figure out our other scales without having to spend too much time. So when we did E, it went E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. So it went white key, black key, white key. Well, we don't have an E sharp as an option, so we'd have to do E flat. So if this went white, black, white, this would have to go black. And then we'll do a whole step to white, another white, black. So we end up going E flat, F, G, A flat, and then a whole step to another black key, which would be B flat. Okay? So that's our E flat scale. Okay? So then we would move on to our next black key. So we know that when we did F, it went F, G, A, B flat, C. It's white, black, white. Well, again, we can't have an F flat, but we can have an F sharp. So if this one went white, 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 black, white, this one will go black, 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 half step to white, whole step to black. So an F sharp scale goes F sharp to G sharp, to A sharp, to B, and then B to C sharp. So F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp. And again, there's only one white key, but if we know this is a B, this would have to be an A, this would have to be a G, this would have to be an F. Okay? So you can always use whatever white key you have to figure out the best name for your black keys. Okay. This next one could be a little tricky because of that. So I'm going to kind of give us a hint. For our black key here, we would have to call this one A flat. Now the reason for that we could kind of get from what we've talked about so far is that G was all white keys. Well, because of how the black keys are spaced, we couldn't have a normal scale like this that would be all black keys. It just wouldn't work. But A had 4 white keys and 1 black key. It went A, B, C sharp, D, E. All right? So that means we, instead of going white, white, black, white, white, we'll go black, black, whole step to white, black, black. So we end up with A flat to B flat to C, half step to D flat, then D flat to E. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat. Okay? So that brings us to our last one. We're going to do B flat. I'll move to the other side of the keyboard here. Okay, so here's our B. We know that B went B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. Okay, so we're going to do B flat, because again we don't have a B sharp. So B flat, and then this one went white, black, black, white, black. So this one will go black, white, white, black, white. So B flat, whole step to C, whole step to D, half step to this black key, which we'll call E flat. Oops, sorry, which we'll call E flat, and then another whole step to F. Okay, and that's our B flat scale. Oops. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. All right. So those are all 12 of your major scales, and you want to practice those just like we did with our C scale with both hands together. Now, these might take some time to get comfortable, and you might have to watch this video more than once to get the hang of it, but try writing it out, try playing through them and naming the notes, and before you know it, you'll get used to understanding how these spaces relate on the keyboard and also physically what they feel like. So just keep at them. This is a really good building block for both logic and to build dexterity in your hands. So we'll go from there next time.